What's up, YouTube? How y'all doing today? Hope y'all having a good day today. So, getting right into it. I am now doing an experiment on myself. Me and a friend of mine, we're both doing experiments on ourselves. We're doing experiments with Sarms, which are called selective androgen receptive modulators. And what they're for is, technically they're PEDs, performance enhancing drugs. They're research drugs, essentially. And you can legally buy them online from reputable companies. But it is not recommended because these are research drugs only. And me and my good friend Randy, we were taking these at a risk to ourselves. Although a lot of the research suggests that it's a little bit less risky than actually taking straight up anabolic steroids. But nonetheless, there are several risks and side effects involved with taking Sarms. So with that being said, I'm going to get right into it. So I do not recommend, if you are a person, to not take these for yourselves. It is not recommended. These are for research purposes only. You're supposed to do these on lab rats. But again, we don't have lab rats. We're doing it on ourselves. We are the lab rats, me and my good friend Randy. But again, they're research purposes. So call me a scientist. Call my friend Randy the scientist, Dr. Randy. But anyhow, so what we're going to be doing is, me and him, we're actually doing a collab. We're going to see who gets the biggest improvement in our physiques from now until 3 months. So this is my first week. I've already started the Sarms. This is my first week, and I'm doing a little bit of an interesting hybrid kind of stack. So it's like almost 3 cycles, mini cycles in one. I'm doing this for 12 weeks. And for those of you who are Sarms goblins like myself, you'll know what I'm talking about. I've experimented before with ostarine and rad 140. You know, ostarine is good for, you know, it's a mild SARM, give or take. It's of course it's good for adding muscle, but it's also the research on it suggests that it's good for healing tendons and ligaments as well. So that's why I'm taking ostarine, because I'm going to be pretty hard on my body and I want something to back up my connective tissues. And rad 140 is really good at, you know, getting dry muscular gains and strength gains. But also Ligandrol is good for bulking. You do get a lot of water weight. You know, some people say it's similar to Dianabol. But yeah, so I'm taking those 3 together. Now, some say you can't stack Sarms or whatnot. But a lot of other research suggests, no, actually you can. There is a certain limit that if you're taking like 50 milligrams daily of each SARM, then yeah, you're kind of overdoing it and you're kind of wasting your money. But me, currently, I'm doing 15 milligrams of rad 140, 25 of ostarine, and 10 of Ligandrol. That's my first mini cycle. So dude, I broke it up into 3 4-week cycles, back to back to back. First 4 weeks is Ligandrol, rad 140, and ostarine. Now, I already know how rad 140 and ostarine affect me, so that's kind of like my control out of the Sarms. And then the next 4 weeks after that, I'm going to be doing, that's a little crazy, but fuck it, be doing rad 140, ostarine, and S23 for 4 weeks. Now, for those of you, again, who aren't Sarms goblins, S23 is like the most powerful SARM known to man currently. Most people get great results, great strength gains on S23. Similar to rad 140 as far as the dryness, again, research suggests, as far as the dry gains and the strength is concerned. And then once I get through with that 4 weeks of S23, I'm going to be taking, again, rad 140, ostarine, and YK11. I'll get into the dosages of YK11 and S23 after that. But YK11 is interesting because it blocks myostatin. So myostatin is a hormone in your body that limits how much muscle you can put on. If you have high myostatin levels, you are going to have a difficulty putting on muscle. What increases myostatin? Well, something as simple as not sleeping right, not eating enough. If you're constantly in a calorie deficit, yeah, you're going to increase your myostatin. I did a little small experimental cycle with the peptide follistatin 344. Didn't really do anything for me. Some people get results, some people don't. I don't know if I got bunk follistatin or not, but I got it from a pretty reputable source. I'm not going to state the source per se right now, but for those of you who are interested, I have an email link on my About section of the YouTube channel. Send me an email link and I'll tell you the source in which I'm using, because I've used them before and I know it works. I actually did a cycle this time last year. I was talking about some bullshit, oh, my lab rats, and I didn't quite complete that review. I got a bit distracted with several things. I had a lawsuit case end. I wasn't being sued. I was suing the drunk driver and his insurance company. So I had a lot going on, so it kind of got dropped. But this, I am not dropping this because I don't really see a whole lot of content out there about Sarms stacks. So I'm like, fuck it. I'm really passionate about, you know, lifting and all this other shit. So I'm going to put this out there. So there's only a couple of people that I've seen talk about it. Of course, Russo Lifts, Dadbot 2.0, but they don't take it themselves. You know, they have lab rats, just saying. But you know, I'm not going to say that they take it. They might say it on their channel. I'm not going to say they may or may not. Not my business to tell. You should look them up. But anyhow, back to the subject at hand. So yeah, I'm doing 3 mini cycles, and then of course I got my PCT, post-cycle therapy. It's gonna, I'm gonna be starting while I'm on cycle, Sarms cycle, HMG and HCG. I'm gonna be taking about 250 units, international units a week of HCG. I'm actually gonna take my first dose today, and then HMG. I'm still doing the math because I've never taken HMG, so this is gonna be new to me. What those two peptides do is HCG stimulates the I can't quite pronounce this, LEDIG cell. I think they call it the ligand cells and your gonads to continue to produce testosterone. It basically, as one YouTuber says, it keeps the lights on in your testicles, basically. So just to keep me from being totally shut down as far as my testosterone production, because this Sarms do suppress your testosterone. Certain Sarms suppress your testosterone production. Sarms like stenobolic and cauterine don't suppress your testosterone, but Sarms like ostarine, Rad 140, S23, S4, YK11, to name a few, Ligandrol. These all suppress your testosterone levels. Now, to what effect, it varies from person to person. Me, when I did Rad 140 and ostarine, it didn't totally shut me down. I had a pretty nice and easy going PCT. I really didn't lose any of my gains from my first Sarms cycle. I retained all my gains, and all I had HCG and clomid and tamoxifen. Of course, the clomid and tamoxifen comes after you're done with the Sarms. You take HCG during cycle, and then I up the dose. There's a bit of a how do I say this? Mixed debate on whether or not you should take HCG after cycle, or if HCG is just meant to take during cycle. So there's a bit of a mixed debate on it. I took it during and after cycle, but I upped the dose to about I think when I did my first PCT, I did 1,000 units a week for 2 weeks, and of course I was taking my tamoxifen and clomid after that. But anyhow, on this cycle, this is a pretty heavy duty Sarms cycle. I have AI aromatase inhibitors, which more than likely I'm not going to need them because these are Sarms, not steroids. Really kind of hard to you know, I go into the whole science of it, but I'll save it for a later date. The way that you could get aromatization testosterone with the Sarms cycle is kind of an indirect kind of, you know, path, whereas if you're taking steroids, and you're also taking testosterone injections, it's a lot easier for you to have aromatization and, you know, get estrogen side effects. The main one we're concerned with, of course, is gyno. I have no issues with that, and I don't plan on having any issues with that. So, and that's why I have the AIs on hand, Ligandrol and anastrozole. Ligandrol is a very powerful AI, and anastrozole is kind of a weak. The reason why it's good to have both of these is because, one, Ligandrol has a longer half-life, and anastrozole is very quick acting but short half-life. It's not as powerful as Ligandrol. We'll get more into the science of that. I'm just kind of giving you all the basics, what's going on right now. I'll get more into the science as I'm covering this. I'm going to be covering this in quite detail and depth, because I've learned so much from the community of people like Russo Lifts and Dadbod 2.0, More Plates, More Dates, and I just kind of want to throw my hat in there and help with information as well. So I've learned a lot from these YouTubers, and just doing my own research and reading up on research papers and things of that nature on these SARMs. So I do not recommend going into this blind, because that can lead to detrimental effects on your testosterone levels. Get labs if you're going to do this. I don't recommend it, of course, but if you're going to do it, I recommend you get labs. Get labs done first before you do anything. I went and got my labs done, and my testosterone levels are decent. They're not low, but they're not as high as I'd like them to be. They're in the 500s, and I know why. Sleep plays a big role on your testosterone levels. And for the longest time, my sleep was fucked up, but I've been slowly but surely getting it back on track. I get 6 to 7 hours, and that's why my testosterone levels were climbing close to the 600 mark. But anyways, back to the subject on hand. I'm going to be covering these SARM stacks and what they do to me and how they're affecting me, what my gains are. I'm guessing that I'm probably going to gain, because I'm doing a 12-week cycle, I'm probably going to gain about 20 pounds of lean body mass, and I'll probably lose 5 or so pounds of fat mass. So probably a total gain of 15 pounds overall. I'm currently about 240, and I'll probably end up weighing about 255. On the low end, I could gain as much as 30, but this is all guesstimation of how I responded to my first SARM cycle. I did Rad 140 and ostarine, and on that cycle, I wasn't sleeping the best, and I was educated, but not educated as much as I should have been, and I still gained about 15 pounds of lean mass, and I lost about 7 pounds of fat mass. So I gained like 10 pounds overall. I was 227 and I went to 237. So, and I got really strong. I went from benching 315 to benching 350, and I think I did an 8-week cycle. So anyways, doing 12-week cycle. Now base, it's always good to have some sort of testosterone base. Now I don't have a trustworthy source of getting testosterone injection. I did do a hybrid cycle of S4 and testosterone ethionate, and I did have a trustworthy source to get my injectable testosterone ethionate, but this time around I don't. So I'm going to do what I did in my very first SARM cycle. I'm going to take a product called Superdrol by High Tech Pharmaceuticals. It's not the actual steroid Superdrol. It's a pro hormone. It's got andro 1, andro 4, which basically, when it hits your liver, it turns to testosterone. So that's kind of my base. Is it a little bit harsh on the liver? Yes, and I'm going to be keeping an eye on that. I'm probably going to get a lab done somewhere around week 5 or so of doing the cycle to see what it's doing to my liver, how it's affected me. I had a lab done before I started this. All my levels were good. Testosterone was good, liver enzymes were good, everything was good, almost picture perfect actually. One thing it did say that, and I was a little bit dehydrated when I went and done the test, so my liver markers were, well, excuse me, not liver, kidney markers were like a average, but they were like a high average, and which made me concerned. I did some research, like, oh, and I was dehydrated. I remember when I went in for my test. Yeah, I was a little bit on the dehydrated side. So when you go and get your tests done and all your labs done, don't go in dehydrated. One, the blood draw will take forever for them to get it, and two, it'll skew your results a little bit. So a little note for those of you who are trying to do this. But and I'm sorry if I'm all over the map. I'm trying to hurry up and get this video done and out there. I just got done with my night shift, so I'm actually about to go to bed. It's like bedtime for me. So anyhow, so it's called Super Draw High Tech Pharmaceuticals. You take 2 tablets a day. That's going to be my testosterone base, so to speak. And I know it works pretty well because I took it with my first Sarms cycle. That was like my base during my first Sarms cycle. I didn't start on it until halfway through the cycle, though, because I was kind of being a little more conservative. So, but this one I started from the jump, from the very beginning. Anyhow, so that's like my base. And then, you know, first 4 weeks, Ligandrol, Rad 140, ostarine. The second 4 weeks, we're doing S23, Rad 140, and ostarine. And then the third 4 weeks is, again, Rad 140, ostarine, and YK11. Well, I'll get a little bit more into what my PCT post-cycle therapy protocol is going to be, but this is the first video I'm putting out now for the review, and please ignore the dishes in the background. I'm going to show where I'm starting at. So right now I'm about 240 pounds. My measurements are, my arms are like 17 3/4 inches when flexed. Quads are 27 inches when flexed. Excuse me, not when relaxed. You're not supposed to flex your quads when you're getting measurements. The only muscle you flex when you're getting measurements are your arms. But chest, legs, everything else is supposed to be relaxed. Calves are 16 inches. Arms, 17 3/4. Quads, 27 inches. My waistline was about 36.5. But I did like a little mini bulk before starting this, so I just started eating like crazy, just to bulk up a little. I don't know if it's actually going to help me with my gains, but I said, fuck it, might as well. So I just ate excessive amounts of calories for about a week, so I put on, you know, an extra 5 pounds of probably body fat. So I was about 235 with about, you know, 15% body fat, and then I put on another 5 pounds. So whatever that does to my body fat, maybe I'm 16% body fat, and these are all guesstimations, you know. In order to have truly accurate guesstimations, you got to go have, you know, done with calipers and whatnot, and even that will vary a little bit. There's really no exact precise way to get your exact body fat percentage, at least not that I know of, not as of yet. When you hear these body fat percentages, they're all guesstimations. Now they can be pretty close guesstimations, but they're guesstimations. But anyhow, so I'm going to show you where I'm starting off with. You know, I'll take my shirt off and whatnot. 17 3/4 inch arms, 27 inch quads, 16 inch calves. I'm about 37.5 inch waistline. I'm 47 inch chest. I did not get my measurements for my shoulders, but my neck is 17. So, all right, big reveal. So, this is all for research purposes. So this is where I'm starting out at. I have faint lines for my abdominals, not flexed. This is flexed, of course. And I'm not the best at flexing my abdominals. I can't do all those crazy stomach vacuums. I need to learn how to do that. It's pretty cool. But this is where I'm starting out at. Let's get some different shadows going with the lights here. I'm not flexing. I'm not putting on any airs or any airs or anything like that. So the quads. I'm gonna start off with the quads. Hopefully the phone don't fall. So this is what we're starting off with. Quads. Relaxed. Flexed. Relaxed. Flex. We'll do a little Jay Cutler shake out. Stomp. That's actually pretty good. So yeah, if I were to guess body fat percentage, maybe 16%. You know, I got a little thickness to me, but I'll probably end up going down, if I had to guess, 13%. I didn't quite do that one right. Let me do that one again. So what the thing that Jay Cutler does, he'll shake his leg out and he'll stop. There we go. Oh. Knock the phone down. Try it again. Yeah. So that's what we're starting off with. You know, just adding my 2 cents into the Sarms community. So, yeah. Flexing like I'm at a fucking bodybuilding show. So, yeah. Roughly 16-17% body fat. So the proper way to do a bicep flex is you gotta get your bicep above your shoulder, turn the thumb back, and flex like a motherfucker. Yeah. So yeah. So, hopefully this will be good information. Hopefully we'll get some good documentation going here. I don't know all the fancy poses that, you know, Arnold Schwarzenegger did back in the day. Maybe I'll learn those. But anyways, if you've watched this whole video, I appreciate it. We'll see what we can do. And again, like I said, I'm in competition with my buddy Randy. We're going to be doing some collaborations. He's actually starting his own YouTube channel. I cannot remember it for the life of me, but I'll be covering it because he hasn't started it yet. He's going to be getting started on it today. I'll be releasing another video soon, and I'm going to introduce you all to his YouTube channel and the competition we're going to have. And what we're probably going to do is we're probably going to release our pictures of a side-by-side, and we'll have you all vote on them and see who wins, who gets. It's not about who's going to, it's not like an actual bodybuilding competition. It's going to be about who gets the most amount of change dramatically, right? Randy's got a little bit of an advantage because he's going to get the beginner gain because it's been quite some time since he's worked out regularly. I've been going to the gym consistently for like, you know, 5, 6, how old am I? 30. 6 years now consistently. And also too, you know, I'm going to be doing a cut too. So it's going to be an interesting competition because he's going to have beginner gains and he's probably going to, honestly, I predict that he's probably going to win the biggest dramatic. This is not about who looks the best. It's who can achieve the most amount of change for a positive change, you know. And he read off his stats to me, but I'm gonna let him cover it in his YouTube channel, and I'll refer you all to that. But anyhow, thank you all for watching, and yes, more content to come. Peace.